Hi, I'm Son from Sonokinetic. Should I look that way?
Last time that I got a chance to interview you on Skype, we talked about how you'd been evolving your orchestral phrase libraries from the first ones from tutti and minimal, and adding and kind of evolving the technology as you went for things you'd like to see. Can you tell us about the concept for NOIR, and if there's any new innovations that you've been challenged to create to see that library kind of start to come together the way you'd like to?
Yeah, actually there's quite a bit of it in NOIR, quite a bit of new stuff. Like the main thing is in NOIR is like the style. It's film noir music, so it has a lot of jazz influences. And for me, that's really close to home because I'm a trained jazz piano player, and so I got to use a lot of that harmony and the rhythm, mostly the harmony actually, in this library. So together with Piotr Musial, composer, we developed these phrases, and they're really different from the other products. And because they're different, I also figured they should be used in a different way. So the whole interface is sort of a new concept, and also the way you play it. Like usually whenever you play the chord, you would get a sound in one of our orchestral libraries. In the NOIR, it's more like the preset area, where any key you play will play the phrase, and then it's no longer like the high, mid, low division that we have in the orchestral instruments. So now it's just you have basically 12 different phrases that you can trigger at any moment, and then with the chords you can still change them. But it makes it more interactive, and I think yeah, maybe even more fun to play around with it. The other thing in NOIR, which I really like, is the solos instrument, where we've sampled improvisations. We've sampled a saxophone and a clarinet and a trumpet with a mute and a flugelhorn, and also a piano, which I got to play myself for the recordings, which was cool. In the big hall on the big Steinway, it's always lovely to do that. That instrument is turning out really well. It's going to be very, very easy yet flexible. It's almost done. I think it's going to be a very inspirational tool. Yeah, it's going to be within the next couple of weeks. So we are at that point now. It's in beta right now. So we put it in beta right before I left for NAMM.
With the release of the Woodwinds Ensemble last summer, we saw what I thought, and a lot of other users thought, was really innovative push for combining key switches for articulation triggering. First off, is there a plan to continue the orchestral ensemble lines, and will you continue to have the same kind of key switching if that is the case?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, the key switches thing, when we designed it for the Woodwinds, already we planned that we were going to do strings. That's the next one, and we were going to need even more key switches for the strings. So that's why it's expandable. You can see in the Woodwinds, when you have the flute, that it has an extra set of key switch with the key switch on the B if you push it. So for the strings, we're going to need to use that because we have more articulations, and we've started recording that already.
What do you consider to be a leap in innovation for Sonokinetic?
One of the things I think we sort of pioneered is the way we do the phrase-based sampling, and the way we found a way to pick up in the different places in the sample that obviously other people do too, but I think the way we can make them flexible while not resorting to replaying single notes MIDI, I think that's a big innovation we did, because it keeps like the feel of a live played orchestra in there, and that's I think it's very important. I think one of the other nice things that I want to do more with is the different chords that you can do with the ostinato. We have this ostinato product line now. We have the normal orchestral phrase based, and now we want to we want to combine that because both of the of the approaches have their benefits, and you learn something new with every library. And sometimes we go back and put these new functions into the older libraries, and something else like the NKS compatibility now. It's great for our libraries to see everything on your keyboard, to have the controls right there, and you only have to learn that once. If we do a new library, we have all of that. So what we could just say, okay, record some new samples, put them in there, and be done with it. But that's no fun, You want to go on and create new stuff. So that's why it keeps evolving.
You're almost challenging yourself for every new project, really.
Of course, yeah. You want to be enthusiastic about. If we're not enthusiastic about it, nobody's going to be,
Are there any other software developers or plugins or any kind of software you feel that you've either found inspiration to say, this is great, I can't believe nobody did this before, and now how do I take some of that idea or inspiration into your own on your own libraries?
Well, one of the instruments I was impressed by lately was the sample modeling line of horns. I bought their trumpet, their trombones. I needed some brass for some music I was doing, and that stuff just sounds so good, and it's so playable. That's the main thing, If you play something and you play a fast line on the trumpet, it just sounds like it should, and I was really impressed by that.
Do you have any kind of idea or hint or prediction? How might we be using music software or in like 3 or 5 years differently? Do you think that will be anything different, or is there a tract or something that you're excited about now, hoping that it might evolve into something more substantial than it is?
That's a good one. I think there's going to be more portability between the portable stuff and your computer. Between your iPad, your phone, your computer, go from idea to a production, and there is already a lot of that. But I think it has to mature and go somewhere where you can really integrate all of that. So I think there's going to be a lot of cloud-based stuff that makes that happen and makes it a more natural merge.
I mean, it's hard for me to do the interviews because half the time I just want to talk to you about them because I'm so excited about what you guys are doing.